Pakistan's economy missed most of its targets from the previous budget due to challenging conditions, but the agriculture sector achieved significant growth, announced Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb while unveiling the Pakistan Economic Survey 2023-24. The agriculture sector expanded by 6.25%, the highest in 19 years, driving GDP growth to an expected 2.38% in FY 2024, up from a 0.21% contraction last year. The report noted fiscal discipline with a deficit of 3.7% of GDP and a primary surplus of 1.5%. Total revenues grew by 41%, supported by non-tax revenues and improved tax collection. The State Bank of Pakistan maintained a tight monetary policy with a 22% policy rate, reducing inflation to 26% from 28.2%. The current account deficit narrowed to $0.5 billion, and foreign exchange reserves increased to $8 billion. Despite these gains, the survey highlighted a decline in the investment to GDP ratio, sluggish large-scale manufacturing, and high public debt. Other key points include an increase in per capita income to $1,680 from $1,551 and a reduction in the current account deficit to $200 million from $3.9 billion in the same period last year. Hunter Biden, son of U.S. President Joe Biden, has been convicted of lying about his drug use to buy a gun illegally. A jury in Wilmington, Delaware, found him guilty on all 3 counts. Hunter Biden, 54, nodded slightly as the verdict was read. First Lady Jill Biden arrived at the courthouse after the verdict. Hunter left holding hands with her and his wife, without speaking to reporters. President Biden stated he respects the judicial process and supports his son, who has been sober since 2019. Hunter Biden expressed disappointment but gratitude for family and friends' support. His attorney plans to pursue all legal challenges. The jury deliberated for about 3 hours over 2 days. Sentencing is expected within 120 days, for the November 5 presidential election. Special counsel David Weiss, who brought the case, emphasized that no one in this country is above the law. Weiss also charged Hunter Biden with tax offenses, with a trial set for September 5 in Los Angeles. The United Nations Human Rights Office reports possible war crimes by both Israeli forces and Palestinian armed groups during a raid in Nusayrat, Gaza, last week. At least 274 people were killed and 600 injured in the raid, which aimed to rescue 4 captives held in Gaza for over 8 months. The operation involved Israeli special forces with air support. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk's office expressed shock at the civilian impact, questioning whether Israeli forces adhered to the laws of war. They also condemned Palestinian groups for holding hostages in densely populated areas, increasing risk to civilians. Israel's UN mission accused Turk of slandering Israel while ignoring Hamas' use of human shields. Turk welcomed the UN Security Council resolution endorsing a Gaza ceasefire proposal, urging the flow of humanitarian aid. Hamas has agreed to the UN resolution and is open to further negotiations. Since Israel's war on Gaza began on October 7, at least 37,164 people have been killed and 84,832 injured.